Sup nerds, I'm Cuppa Joey and welcome back to another episode of r/Quit Your Bollocks. I noticed that I haven't been doing as many Quit Your Bollockses recently because there have been quite a few that happened, but I feel like there's a lot more content that's popped up recently. Especially with the whole maskers, anti-maskers. Like, a mask debate should not be even happening, yet here we are, so let's have a little look at what they're banging on about. Kerid Crater Lake in Iceland, also known as the Eye of the World. Of course it looks like an eye if you just Photoshop a freaking eye onto it. And then somebody else posted, like, this is what the crater actually looks like. This is one of those ones where it's one of those I really don't understand why you would feel the need to lie about this. Like, what if you said, oh, I found this crater, here it is normally, but I photoshopped this eye into it because I thought it would look cool. Like, I don't understand why that's any worse. Like, why do you have to make up this, like, nature is amazing kind of story behind it? Like, just, you can voice your own talents then. Like, this is one of those ways that you can get internet clout for actually being talented, Also, it is a very, very beautiful lake anyway. You could say, oh, it's called the Eye of the World because of the shape. And I would be like, yeah, like it even looks like it's got that little sort of pinky bit on the side. Like if you look at the one that's not photoshopped, there's like a little bit of mud just next to it. It looks like, I forget what that part of the eye is called. The bit that can only ever be pink. I mean, I know that that's the way that I'm referring to it. That's weird, but I only know that because you can't colour that bit in when you do makeup. But yeah, again, like, just why lie? Why? What's the point? It's like a perfectly nice picture and you would have had a perfectly nice story without the frickin' lies. Run fast and far, the most abusive form of training ever. My beautiful sweet yellow lab went there to help socialize. He came home a totally different dog. He hadn't been home for 12 hours and he bit me in the face requiring 2 surgeries and it was 30,000 doctor and hospital bills. After the bite, we examined the dog to find multiple burn marks around his neck from a shock collar. I was told to watch for blood in his stool, why not mention the burns? I was forced to put my beautiful registered lab down. Never heard one thing from this company. My dog came home abused and now I am scarred for life. The worst place around. Do not let your animal out of sight. Protect them from terrible abusive trainers. And then, of course, the response from the business owner. Mrs. Smith. If Yelp will allow me to, I will post your contract information where you are stating your dog was aggressive before you even began your training with us. He was not the sweet yellow lab you state. And how his dominance and aggression towards you specifically was the biggest problem you wanted to work on. In your own notes about his behaviours, you specifically state he is dominant and aggressive to you. If allowed, I will also post all of the videos we did with your dog during training to show how happy and responsive he was during the training with us. Again, if allowed, I will also post the pictures and message your husband sent to me acknowledging the fact that you did not follow through with the very thing we told you to. Which was, do not allow a known dominant 90-pound dog onto your bed. Not only did you not follow through with the leadership transfer and allow a dominant dog onto your bed, you also grabbed him by the face and tried to kiss him. The icing on the cake is you want to hold someone else responsible for your own actions, as I mentioned during your consultation. As a dog trainer, with 27 years experience working with aggressive dogs, I would be responsible to you, I would teach you, show you, and educate you that I would teach you how to live with, manage, and control a dominant, aggressive dog. But I cannot and would not be responsible for you. You must follow through with being a good leader to your dog. Your own actions of allowing a known dominant dog onto your bed and then grabbing him by the face and trying to kiss him when you were specifically told not to and then trying to hold someone else responsible for your actions, well, I guess I will let the readers decide. This is really, really gross because when you think about it, this person essentially got to a point where her dog had to be put down just because she couldn't control herself. Essentially she thought that she could go to this, training school and like give her dog to them for, an hour or whatever. Or I guess 12 hours. This says hasn't been home in 12 hours. So I guess for 12 hours, maybe give the dog overnight, give the dog for a week, whatever. Let's just say it's a specified amount of time. and then the dog can come home and she can fuss over it, and it'll be a lovely, lovely, happy dog, and it won't try and bite her in the face. I will admit, I do find that quite funny. I do find it. Is that bad? Is it bad that I find it funny that it bit her in the face? I mean, think about it. If you're a dog and you're being forced to kiss, I mean, why would you? Right, I'm sorry, but dogs eat crap, right? Dogs eat poo. They walk along the street and they see a poo and they think, oh, I'm gonna shove my face in there, and then you're like, oh, who wants a kiss? I'm sorry, but no, no, honey, no. Oh, and just because you can't have your pooey kisses, because you can't have the pooey kisses that you want, you got bit in the face, and now your dog is gone. You know, that's what really frustrates me. And the fact that they're trying to put that against, like, the training company, who are clearly able to go, right, this is how you control it. And the fact that they said, you know, we have videos of the dog very happy with us because we know how to, you know, maintain control, curb that behaviour. And then to just ignore it and be like, oh, why won't my dog kiss me? The dog came home abused and now I'm scarred for life. Yeah, because you're the one freaking abusing it. I've been playing since 2010. My current run is at least 5 years old. I almost cried about 2 years ago when I had to reformat my computer and thought I'd lost my backup. How did you play the game in 2010? People would never lie on the internet, so he must be a time traveller since the game came out in 2013. Yeah, whenever somebody's lying on the internet, there's always some kind of logical explanation behind it, like being a time traveller, or being in two places at the same time, or, you know, just being a freaking sorcerer. Still erasing history, are we? Nancy Green, aka Aunt Jemima, was born into slavery. She was a magnificent cook. When she was freed, she rolled her talent into a cooking brand that General Mills bought and used her likeness. She was a storyteller, cook, activist, and the first of several African-American models hired to promote a corporate trademark as Aunt Jemima. She died in 1923 as one of America's first black millionaires. And then, of course, a comment on the leftist lemmings never even bothered to pause to reflect. Yup, we can't have that. Erase all memories of a successful black female. Oh, you know, it's great when they use the word female as, you know, a noun. What a legacy story. She proved you can't be held back in America. So proud of her accomplishments. Nancy's turning over in her grave right now. This is what 3 generations of leftist indoctrination brings, to quote Newt. Oh, don't confuse the racist libtards with facts, their minds are made up. While they were all busy sort of, you know, patting each other on the back. But Green did not die a millionaire. In fact, she could not live off the earnings she made from her portrayal of Aunt Jemima and continued to work as a housekeeper until a few years before her death in 1923. The origins of Aunt Jemima can be traced back to 1889 when Chris Rutt and Charles Underwood created a self-rising pancake mix. The product originally carried the name self-raising pancake flour, but Rutt was inspired to change the name of the mix after he attended a minstrel show and saw men dressed in blackface perform a song entitled Old Aunt Jemima. This is just a simple Google search. Strange how the right never takes a moment to pause and reflect. That's the problem, is that they will just think, like, they will find something that fits, like, what's convenient to them. It's like, oh, if I believe this narrative, I don't have to change anything about the way I live. I don't have to think about what I do and how it affects others. Seriously, like saying, oh, she died as one of the first black millionaires when it was actually, like, freaking based off of a minstrel show, off of, like, blackface, off of a racist caricature of what black people are. Essentially, anything where they are using a cartoon black person to promote something and the CEO is white, companies like that, you've really got to, like, sort of quirk an eyebrow at. You know, yeah, I'm looking at you, Uncle Ben's, and yes, I'm saying that as somebody that enjoys Uncle Ben's rice, I still don't feel comfortable knowing the history behind it. Okay, so I actually did a little Google search because I got quite interested after this, and I found out, just from an article that I read, that last month, quite literally last month, or actually, like, just over a month ago, they rebranded Uncle Ben's. They stopped calling him Uncle Bren's, Jesus. They stopped calling him Uncle Ben's, and they're now calling it Ben's Original, and they're not having, like, the little cartoon caricature. So I guess that's something. And for anybody complaining, oh, this is erasing black people, it really isn't. You know, Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben, they were always caricatures. They were never real people. You know, for example, if you want to say about like real people, look at Levi Roots' Reggae Sauce. That is a guy who created a sauce, and it is a damn good sauce. I really like that sauce myself, actually. And it is his face on the bottle because he made it. That's totally fine. This isn't a caricature. This is just a guy selling his yummy, yummy sauce. 18 years clean from heroin today. Well, you're full of it. This image has been posted on Reddit several times. Wow, so, I actually mentioned already that I don't know how people could always tell reposts. Like, even I've come across reposts and people say in the comments, oh, this is a repost. And then I'm just like, how? How did you figure that out? I've never seen this picture before. But if this has been posted several times, I can see why people would have recognized it, Also, like, how scummy is it to freaking claim somebody's struggle? Like, to claim, oh, 18 years clean from heroin today. No, that's somebody else that's actually gone through that, got through an addiction and recovered from it. And you're just, like, claiming that for what? Good boy points? Come on, grow up, mate. National anthem should be changed to John Lennon's Imagine, activists say. Literally one dude suggested this. Yep, not activists at all, New York Post. One dude. Maybe even John Lennon. Maybe he came back. Maybe he came back just to be like, you know what? It'd be great if I was the national anthem. I don't know why I sounded Australian. I wasn't even trying to do a Liverpudlian accent, but for some reason when I did an impression of John Lennon just said it came out Australian. You know what, mates? Now I come back from the grave, I've turned Australian. Wouldn't it be great if Imagine were a national anthem? I'm sorry, I can't do an Australian accent. This has just been an absolute fire, even worse than the concept of Imagine being any kind of freaking national anthem. And yeah, just so that we're all on the same level, the song Imagine by John Lennon is just absolute wank. How can he sing Imagine no possessions and then just have like all of the weird crap that he had? Okay, this one is less quit your bollocksy and you'll see why once the edit comes in. Random fun fact, I met Jack Kirby at a Childish Gambino / Janelle Monáe / 21 Savage concert. Also got to high-five the Asian guy from the Try Guys, stood 5 feet away from Chance the Rapper with his family and the frontman from Jane's Addiction. And then, regarding Jack Kirby, no you didn't, he died in the 80s. So yeah, it would be pretty impressive if you met him at a Childish Gambino / Janelle Monáe / 21 Savage concert. Then they popped in with the edit. Yeah, so yeah, the guy I was with totally pugged me and told me some random dude was Jack Kirby and now I look like an idiot. I have to admit, I'm slightly skeptical on whether this person was punked. Also, really? Punked? Do people still use that word? Even I thought that was uncool. And I'm Mr. Groovy, I know exactly what's cool. I know that, to be the coolest, cool possible, you gotta act like the Fonz or wear your cap back to front. Also, if you say things like radical, people will know that you're very cool. But, like, the fact that they said, oh, and I also high-fived Eugene from the Try Guys, and I stood 5 feet away from Chance the Rapper, and I also touched this guy, like, I think that it was all bollocks. At first I was like, I'm not too sure if it was quit your bollocks. I think that they got, their friends, took the piss, or, like, didn't know, or thought that it might have genuinely been Jack Kirby. People make mistakes if they don't know somebody has passed and there's someone that looks like them. But that with everything else of, I met this guy and then I met this guy. Also, why would they be at a freaking Janelle Monáe's 21 Savage concert? It's just such a weird mix of people, So yeah, I'm actually going to go back and say, no, this is definitely quit your bollocks. They just tried to be like, oh no, my friend pugged me to try and get away with, like, all the lies. Like, most people would just delete. They're trying to find a loophole. It's just not believable, mate. You might have seen on my page that I now have a Patreon. So for just £2, you will get exclusive access to my blooper reel with unseen bits that I haven't yet posted on this channel. And at the highest tier, you will get your name in credits at the end of my videos. Bearing in mind that I post a video 5 times a week, that's a lot of videos you're going to get your name in credits on. If not, a little like and a subscribe on my channel help a lot. Well, that's it for this episode of r/Quit Your Bollocks, which just goes to show that as long as the internet exists and as long as people can be anonymous, or maybe not even anonymous on the internet, they are going to be spreading absolute bollocks to try and get a teensy bit of internet clout. And as I say at the end of every episode, if you enjoyed hearing from this subreddit or would like to hear from any other subreddit, then do let me know in the comments. And until then, I'll see you all next time.